If you've been keeping up with my channel, hopefully you've seen my video on the making of my short film, Sons of Thunder, and you've also been introduced to the cast of the film. In this video, I want to introduce you to my composer and the rest of the music that is featured in the film. I'm not sure if some of it will be flagged for YouTube copyright issues, but I hope you enjoy listening to the music behind Sons of Thunder. It's always been my intention to collaborate with some of my favorite artists and have them incorporate their music into the film. That's always been my goal and dream for the feature, and so I got to tap into that and play with that a little bit here in the short film. So the first person I made contact with was Cody Bonnet, who is the lead singer of the band As Cities Burn. I first asked Cody if he would be interested in scoring the film, and he was interested, but he also just started a new music project, so his hands were kind of full. And so I eventually asked him if I could just use one of his songs from his vast catalog of music, specifically Hawk Boy, which was more of an independent record that him and Aaron Lunsford started. And so Cody gave his blessing, said, yeah, go ahead and use one of those songs. And so you hear that song playing in the montage of the boys downtown when they're making their final trip home after the drive-in. And it just felt like the right song. The lyrics feel like something that have meaning to these boys' stories, as well as this is music that these guys would listen to. The song at the end of the credits comes from one of my favorite bands, My Epic. I had the opportunity to make a music video for a great band, Metro Detroit-based band, American Arson, who is signed to Face Down Records. And so that put me in touch with Face Down Records, who also is the record label behind My Epic. And so I got to ask them if it would be okay to use their song in the short film. And so they said yes. Being able to use 3 of my favorite artists into this project is a dream come true. But it just makes me excited for future collaborations, and hopefully My Epic is able to contribute more to the soundtrack once we get to the feature. It was vital to me that whoever was composing music for the film was making music that these guys would actually listen to. That it wasn't, a big orchestra or these, very deep and orchestral instruments, but it was music that these guys would have on their playlists, that they would make mixtapes of this, that they would go to these artists' shows and represented their world. If they made a soundtrack to their life, who would be on that playlist? And so that led me to reach out to Igor Efimov. He's been in a few different bands, one of my favorites being Behold the City, and he also lent his talents to Silent Planet for a little while, and now he's doing his own thing with his band Taka. And so I just reached out on Instagram and said, hey, I have this film project. I don't know if you've ever done anything like this before, but I would love to have your music as part of the film. And so he was super accommodating, he was interested in the project, and he agreed to come on board.
Hey, my name is Igor Efimov, and I composed music for some of the scenes on Sons of Thunder. When Chris has initially reached out with the idea of me working on the short film, and he kind of provided the trailer, I initially had some already pretty cool ideas in my head about how I could approach writing for this film. And when Chris accompanied the notes and I kind of dove into the project a little bit more, I knew that I could do something pretty cool. So yeah, it was a really cool process from the beginning till the end, where I had some time to work on each of the scenes that Chris had lined up, and kind of try to get into his head a little bit, into his notes, in a very detailed way, so that I could shape something in my head, and that I could, just kind of let the creativity out.
We got to talking, we talked about, the characters, and we got to talk about where I want the film to go eventually, and, think about music from those perspectives of the characters and the feelings and emotions that we wanted. I wrote down a whole list of where music needed to be and the vibe that I was going for. And Igor was able to interpret that so well and came up with some amazing ideas and some music that I just love to listen to. Like, you can listen to these songs just by themselves and just jam out and love them and just stay with them.
I had a really fun time working on it. I've used several approaches behind writing music in order to achieve the results that you'll hear in the final version of the film. Two of the pieces I kind of composed on guitar, so it's a little bit more kind of that post-hardcore, post-rock, alternative vibe that I really love myself. I love that kind of grungy almost sound, but it has some modern elements to it and some progressive elements to it as well. So I would load the film into the program that I work to compose and to engineer music. And I would just like watch through the scene a few times, read through the notes that Chris sent, write the notes out on a pad so that, you know, I could just kind of think through what I'm writing a little better. And I would just play through the scene and just kind of try a few different riffs on the guitar kind of thing, or actually one of the ideas I started with drums initially. So yeah, it was kind of a fun thing. And then I would try to line up with the mood that was intended to be in that scene, also line up all the kind of changes in the song so that they progress, you know, they have climax, they have everything that you kind of want in music and as well as in a movie.
Igor is one of those artists who is instantly recognizable by the music that he plays. He's a great guitarist, and I feel like there are so few musicians these days who is like, you could listen to their music without knowing what was playing and be like, that has to be this person that I know. And that's how it is with Igor. His music is just so distinct and so him. And I personally have never heard anyone play like him.
One of the scenes I was composing just on piano. I finished conservatory on piano when I was younger, so piano is kind of my first instrument, or was at least a while ago, and I love playing piano. So yeah, I just kind of had an idea before approaching this project that I didn't use anywhere, and then it just kind of ended up flourishing into something that you'll hear in the film. So like pretty dramatic sounds, but at the same time they're a little bit in the background, and they have that also vinyl crackle on it just to give it a little bit of that, you know, some sort of an ambience in a way.
And so he lives in Porto, and so we're on different time schedules. So basically when I'm going to bed at 2 a.m., he's waking up, and when I wake up, he's, you know, sent me some projects, or he's sent me what he's been working on. And so for about a week, I got to wake up to a tailor-made song for my project from one of my favorite artists. And that is like one of the coolest experiences you could ever have. Like, imagine your favorite artist just like sending you a track and be like, hey, this is, you know, this made me think of you, or you know, obviously Igor wasn't like just randomly thinking about me, but you know, he was making this for me, and being able to just wake up to new music that no one's ever heard before and that I get to sit with long before anyone else does, was like a very cool experience.